Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Mindset Monday. Shali's on holidays today, so it'll be me. And I'm going to talk a little bit about grounding and how to start. How do we start our day? How do we start our every single day in our lives? And grounding is important. Simon Sinek would say, start with the why. Like start from the base, start from your values, start from what you believe in. But how do we ground in life? How do we start our day in the right steps, in the right way? And you can take this to every single discussion, every single thing that we do every single day. And there's a variety of ways that we can use to ground. In yoga, you would say push your feet down to the mat, connect to the mat, take a deep breath. These are grounding ways. These are ways for you to realize that you're starting from your feet, from the foundation, and building up. And often we don't take care of that. We just wake up, take our coffee, and go. Yeah, and and it's like this realization that when we wake up in the morning, we're full of cortisol, we're full of stress, we're full of willing to go because that's the way the body is made, and we're full of acidity and purpose, but we don't take time to ground down, to take a breath and realize, what do we have to do today? And the society will tell us, okay, first thing you do, you wake up, you get dressed, you go, take your coffee, and you don't take time to sit there and say, what is the one thing that I'm going to do today that'll make this day a day to remember? What is the one thing that we'll do today that'll make this day a day to remember? And it could be something very small. It doesn't need to be something very big. And I have this practice that I pay myself first. So once I've done my little routines of the morning, the first thing I will do is pay myself first thing in the morning. And that's a way that I use to ground down, to connect to the earth, to get in touch with my values, my principles, and what matters to me the most. And that to me, first thing in the morning, is a little bit of exercise. Usually it's yoga. And then right after that, I start journaling. I start writing down my non-negotiable every single day. And that allows me to focus and to ground on what's important in my life, what matters in my life. And I'll answer that question. What is the one thing that I will do today that'll make this day a day to remember? What is that one thing that, will, and it seems like an easy question, but it actually is a difficult question to answer. Because if you ask it every day, it's not about traveling to Paris or visiting the pyramids, which I want to do, but you can't do that every day. And a way to ground down is to answer that question with a small focused action. And yesterday, what I wrote down in my book was I wanted to write. So I'm writing my second book and I wanted to write. So I was at the cottage and there's not a lot of spaces to write. And there was all sorts of reasons why I couldn't write anymore. So I decided to go on, my brother-in-law built a tiki bar, went on a tiki bar, brought my computer there, went fishing for some oysters, bought myself a nice drink, sat down there and I wrote for 2 hours. Time went by like this. And when I was reflecting on my day this morning, my yesterday's days this morning, is I answered that question. What am I going to do today that's going to make this day a day to remember? And what I remembered the most was sitting at that tiki bar and writing, and the sun and the creativity. And it's because I paid myself first. Now, that's what I wanted to do. And we forget to pay ourselves first. We pay everybody else. We run for everybody else. And we forget to take some time to ground down, to connect with the earth, to connect with our most important values, the thing that makes us that'll make this day a meaningful day for ourselves. And it could be anything, right? It could be It could be taking a walk or running, or it could be, it's like some people love to go in nature. Some people love to read, whatever it is, right? I think I will invite you to ground down today, to make this day, this day and this week, a day that you will remember. So how do you know it's the right decision? How do you know it's a right or a wrong decision? And I've been asked this question a lot of times, like, how do you know that the decision you're going to make is a right or wrong decision? Well, consider that there's no right or wrong decision. And I was taking a walk with one of my friends and last Friday, and he says, how did you know to make the decision not to go bankrupt and to pursue paying off all your debt? And I said, well, I don't know that it was the right decision or the wrong decision. I just know that I made a decision and I went all in. I made it a day, every single day that I would remember. Every time I paid off a debt, I made it a day to remember. Every time I stepped forward and I went all into my decision, I made it a day to remember. So I think we need to stop fretting about like making the right decisions all the time. What we have to do is being joyful, in playfulness, in blissfulness, in doing something today, in being in something today, and making a choice that you did it, and being happy with that choice. Being happy with being like that because it matters to you. Simon Sinek would say, start with the why. Like if you ask yourself, what is your why of life? What is your why of life? And you ask yourself that question every single day. Why? Eventually, you're going to get to, I'm going to do this. And that's going to be a grounding thing for you. That's going to help you propel your day and make every single day a day to remember. And it's important, right? It's important because when you look at what you're going to do today, whatever that little thing is, think of it this way. In 20 years, will that day be something that you're proud of? Will that thing that you did be something that you're proud of? Of course, you're not going to remember every single day, but like it's like making sure that you wake up and you say, well, I'm happy I did X. Like for me, I'm happy I did yoga today. Nobody wants to wake up and do exercise. Like it's hard. But when you do, you feel amazing. When you accomplish it, you're feeling amazing. When you ground down and you figure out why you want to do what you want to do, you're going to get a day to remember, a day that you'll be satisfied with. And I get over, I overthink a lot. I don't know if you guys do that or not. I overthink a lot. Should I do this or should I do that? What are you going to think of me? And then I have to separate myself from all of those things and start with the why. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I saying what I'm saying? What does it matter for me? Yeah. And I go into my doing in blissfulness, in joyfulness. Yeah. Not in hard. Like I've stopped working as hard. What I do is I work hard at being happy. I work hard at being in, and this is part of my why, at being happy in what I'm doing. I go all in and I finish it. It's not hard. It's like, you remember when you were kids, we used to work, we used to go play. That's how we learn. That's how we become, extraordinary. It's because if we can take something on with joy, and not with, difficulty. And if we make it difficult, if we make it hard, there's no learning there. Your body's all full of like this concoction of like fear and doubt, and there's no learning. And that's why grounding is so important. Once you start with your why, once you start with doing something that starts from your value, from your core existence. And don't worry don't worry too much about like, oh, this is the right or wrong thing. Just be in the doing and the discovery and say, well, that's not it. Or I love doing this. Like I love my day yesterday. And what I remembered about my day was the writing, because that's what I decided to do. And it's a value for me. And I took the opportunity to say, well, what can I do that's different? And typically I would write in my office here, but there I was on a tiki bar in the middle of the ocean, writing all alone. It was beautiful, right? And so but it was an edge, right? There was no Wi-Fi. So I had to bring my computer. I had to download, I had to do a few things to set up. But once I was set up, I made it a day to remember. And that's what I mean by doing something with joy, removing it from being hard, right? Making it so that you're into the why of your life, into the grounding. In yoga, we would say, start with the feet, ground down from the feet before we express out. And if you think about that, that's not what we do in life. What we do is we express out and we say, oh shit, that wasn't, oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. What we say is we say things, we do things, and we say, oh, that didn't feel good, or wasn't good. Like what we have to do is ground down on our values, on our why, on something that is important to us from the ground, from our why, and then create the expression, then go outside the box, then go deeper into the joyfulness of doing it instead of doing the other way around. Think of it this way. It's like you're expanding it, but you haven't built your base. So you're going to fall, right? You're on your tippy toes and you express out, you're going to fall down. But if your feet are flat on the ground, right? And you're expressing out, you're going to get a better, joyful experience. You're going to make a day to remember out of your actions, your decisions. And it won't matter if it's the right or wrong decision. All it matters is you'll be in bliss, in joy of it, right? In joy of it. And I was reading this article. Sadhguru is one of my favorite guys that I'm reading. He's on Spotify, Sadhguru, SADH Guru. Yeah. And I listened to his podcast quite a bit. And he was saying that he's always high. He's always stoned. Yeah. But he wasn't talking about like taking drugs or taking alcohol. He was saying our body, and I love this analogy, like we use drugs and alcohol and other things that we do to escape our lives. But our body is the best chemical factory in the world, right? Our body, the way, and we're like made to concoct this chemistry so we can be high all the time, high on life. We can be in blissfulness on life. And if you start from the ground up, if you start from the base of your values, what matters to you, what brings you joy, and you go all into that joyfulness without worrying about if it's a right decision or the wrong decision, if you're going to offend somebody or not, you just do it. You'll be in bliss. You'll be in this concoction of like chemical reaction where there's no need to escape. There will be a need, but the need will be to express out, to go outside of your comfort zone, to have the courage to do the things you've never done before. Now, Mind Shift Mondays is about business, and it's about personal, and it's about like reaching limits that you've never reached before. So how does that matter to team? It's the same thing. If you're going and you start from your why, your value, your strength, the things that matter to you, and then you express out by going to your team and being part of something that's bigger than yourself, life will be easier. This is why teamwork is so important. Teamwork and partners and relationships. This is why we find friends, because doing something with people is easier. And it's 10 times easier when you know who you are. It's 10 times easier when you start from the ground, your values, your strength, and then you show up as an expression of that strength, as a way to contribute to your community. then it becomes joyfulness. Then you concoct this chemical reaction in your body that makes you feel alive, because you are. Your mind, your body is synced up into one being and building into your community. And this is why we do projects with people. This is why it's fun. It's more fun to go traveling with people, to go kayaking with people. It's because when we do things together, it also fulfills a grounding purpose that we all have. Life is more fun in a community. Life is more blissful in a community. So what do you do to ground? Life is what you practice. So for me, I wake up, I do yoga, I journal, I do reflection, I set my goals for the day. I pick one thing and I focus on my why. And I write this, I answer this question: what will I do today that will make this day a day to remember? I write this down so I can focus on one thing. And I don't worry too much about the decision. I just do the one thing. And I do a lot of more other things, but I make sure I do that one thing for me, for my community, for my family, for my friends, for the people that I love, and for myself, because I love myself too. And it's a mind shift to do this. It's a mind shift to focus on one thing for you. It's a mind shift to focus on being joyful in doing the things that you want to do. It's a mind shift to ground on something before you start expressing out, before you start like saying things or doing things. Why is it that you do what you do? Why is this going to be a day in which you will be proud that you did what you did, that you spoke the words that you spoke, that you wrote the words that you wrote, that you accomplished the things that you want to do? And there is no time. Consider that. It's not a rush. There is no time but right now to do the things that you want to do and start from the ground and then express out. I hope you had a great weekend. I know I'm tired today. And I was speaking to Estelle just before our podcast here, and she was tired too. So we do things that are out of our comfort zone in this time of year. I went jogging on the beach barefoot yesterday. It was amazing. I'm sore everywhere, but it works every single part of my body when I do that. And I can feel it. So I had to do deeper stretches. I had to wake up, get another coffee, get my tea, get my morning routine set up. And now I'm set for my day. Now I'm awake, right? I've alkalized my body and I'm ready to go. I'm not as tired as when I woke up this morning, because today is important. It's an important day. It's an important day because you want to make this a day that you're going to remember, that you'll be proud of. So start from the ground up. And maybe after this meeting, you need to ground down by just walking outside barefoot or taking a deep breath, or maybe sitting in your chair and taking a few seconds to yourself, either in prayer or in meditation or just breathing. Or maybe you listen to like an amazing song that you heard this weekend. Or maybe it's a podcast, 3 or 4 minutes. Or maybe sitting down and writing in your journal, what am I going to do today that makes this a day to remember? Start from the ground, from your feet, from the base, and build up your energy so that you have an amazing week. I am Yves Doucet, and this is Mindset Monday, and I hope you have an amazing week. Join us next week. Shelly will be back, and thank you. Don't forget to start from the ground up.